Yo, 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 it's D.Arthur in the building. I'm talking to you guys today about can no-fap transcend you into out of the friend zone? Can no-fap transcend you out of the friend zone? And in my opinion, it can definitely help you get out of the friend zone. Definitely. Because you have to think about it. If you're on no-fap, if you're on semen retention, no-fap or semen retention, and let's say you're talking to a chick that you're interested in, or that you've seen to find attractive, you're definitely going to be a lot more ballsy, and you're going to take a little bit more risks when you're on no-fap, as opposed to if you weren't on no-faps and you were talking to her. I don't know. There's something about being on no-fap and having your seminal fluid accumulated that makes you a little bit more ballsy. It makes you a little just bit more charismatic, and it really makes you just a little bit more of an authentic kind of person. It makes you a little bit more authentic. It makes you your real self. It makes you an action taker. It helps you use bands.
In 9.6 miles, take a slight right turn to merge onto I-95 south toward Fredericksburg.
It just makes you a little bit more your real self, and this can pay dividends in your attraction life if that's what you want. I mean, being ballsy, taking risks, playing with her, telling her that she's not that or being this thing called an abrasive gentleman, telling her what she may not want to hear, telling her things that she might be insecure about, but saying it in a very, let's say, nice way, can really pay dividends to you if you do it properly. But this is only if you do it properly. It comes down, and if you're on retention, you're more likely to do things properly. It all comes down to how you say it. If you say things in a maybe a joking manner, but have some better and some intentions with it, some intentions that are very nonchalant and non-needy, you're pretty much gonna be the number one prospect in her eye if you do things properly. It's all in order for you to have an advantage over other people, so she is attracted to you more than other people, is to have good conversation skills. And while you're talking to her, maybe look her directly in her left eye or something like that, and then say, like I said, let's say things, say mean things in a joking manner, in a fun attitude, in a very non-needy attitude, and all of a sudden there's going to be something called a shift. There's going to be a shift in the interaction. You're going to go from friend to someone she just talks to as friend, to more of a, let's say, as someone who's more of a person that she looks as to more of a lover type, someone who she can pick as a potential partner instead of just someone who's just a friend. And when you go on retention and you've been working on yourself and you go on no-fap, it's a lot easier to do these things. It's just a lot easier, because if you fap, you don't have that core energy, that core confidence, that core desire that you were wanting to release, let's say with her, is already gone. So you're pretty much looked as a hollow man, meaning you don't have the extra oomph that you can. And I mean, you can still try to pull her and it may work, but I'm just saying that it won't work to its efficiency if you decide to relapse before you're talking to her. So yeah, keep that in mind. When you go on semen retention, when you go on no-fap, it's just a lot easier to interact with women, and you're finally gonna be there's basically 3 zones to this. We have the friend zone, we have a middle part, and then we have the zone where you really want to be, where she looks at you as, let's say, a sexual option. And the way to do this, to get from the friend zone to all the way to somehow she looks at you like you're a sexual option, is to not be afraid. You can't be afraid of anything. You can't be afraid of trying to diss her. Say it in a nice way. Say it in a very joking manner. But say things that may be put her pedestal a little bit lower, so she doesn't see you as like you're afraid, and she looks at you as a viable option. Be very charismatic. What is charisma? Charisma is the ability to spin a word, spin a sentence, so it makes people more interested in you by the way you say it. Charisma is probably the number 1 skill. And a very charismatic person uses this thing called banter. Banter is literally, if you can master the skill of banter, you can master any woman you want, because you're not put off by her beauty, you're not put off by that she's a woman. Banter is called content-free conversation, meaning you can talk. It's basically saying things that are you're saying things in a very joking manner. You don't even have to be talking about anything specific, but you're saying things that are very, let's say, joking, and it's making her like you the more you can do this thing properly. Another term is called abrasive gentleman. If you can, let's say, be very nice with what you're saying, but say it in a mean way. Like, let's say she has like let's say someone just called her pretty, and then she told you that someone called her pretty, and then you say things like, "Oh, I wonder what they were looking at when they said that to you," something like that. It's type of conversation where you're joking, where you're saying mean things, but in a joking manner. And the more, like I said, the more you can do this type of interaction, and you can be very carefree, the more she's going to like you. She's gonna like it. She's gonna like you a little bit more. But if you're way too nice, if you never change her emotions, if you're always just way too nice, and you're not really making her go through some sort of emotional roller coaster or emotional turmoil, then she doesn't really have anything to feel, and like I said, she's gonna put you in the friend zone. The point is, there's a term where you talk about things that may make her feel happy, and then you talk to her about things that may make her feel sad, and then you may talk about things that may make her feel happy again, and then you talk about things that may make her feel angry. And the thing is, you're just putting her in a very emotional sort of space where her emotions are going up and down, up and down, up and down, and then eventually, when you leave the interaction, she's gonna like you a lot more the next time. And the thing is, you're creating a bond with her the more you do this. There's something called deep rapport and light rapport. If you can get to the point where you're talking to her and you have very deep, and you're talking to her in a very and you're talking to her and sharing this thing called deep rapport, where you're sharing some very vulnerable things, let's say maybe about her childhood or something like that, and then you're releasing it, and then you're talking back to normal things about like what she had for dinner last night or something like that. What I'm trying to say is, you keep going from a very emotional, a very sensitive maybe part of her life to a normal, back to a normal part of her life, or something that's very nonchalant, aka like what she had for dinner or something like that. The more you can do this, the more you're going to create an emotional bond with her, and the more, like I said, she'll look at you as a viable option, because she's attracted to how you're making her feel in an interaction. And then from then on, that's pretty much the hard part. And then from then on, you're pretty much looked at as a very good option in her eyes. So yeah, this is a very highly sought after skill that you can learn, and once you learn it, you pretty much can have your way with any woman that you really want. You're no longer going to be looked at as a friend, and you're going to be looked at as someone who's a very viable option. So yeah, keep this in mind when the next time you're with a girl that you like and you're trying to put some attraction, trying to create some attraction, because it's so easy to be in the friend zone and talk to her in a logical manner. But if you can start putting some emotional turmoil in the conversation, it's gonna be like crack to her, and she needs more of that to get that stimulation. And you're the only one who can give it to her. So by then, she's gonna be sexually attracted to you. And also, if you look the part as well, that's definitely gonna help you a lot more too. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.